Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I wanted to go over what I feel is the biggest problem in Hearthstone right now, and it's been feeling this way for quite some time, and I want to go into it. And of course, before we do that, there will be a card review later today. I think there's one this evening, so tune in. There will be a late bonus video going over, I think, probably one new card. Who knows? It could be more, but there's also the giveaway going on for the Murder Castle Nathra. I'm giving away 2 mega bundles, 2 regular pre-orders, and I'm adding a mega bundle for every 1,000 subscribers we hit, and we are closing in. We're almost halfway, well, we're getting there to 54,000 subscribers. So like this video in the description below, comment on it, and subscribe to the channel. Make me go broke. Let's hit that big goal of whatever it is. I don't know. Anyways, what's the big problem in Hearthstone? Well, it's hard to look at it purely from a statistical point of view. HS replay, it's actually the classes are still really close across all ranks. Again, not the best indicator. You have to look at higher legend to get an idea, but it's kind of, you just don't see it very often, where Hunter is #1, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but 53%, Warrior's last. That actually makes a lot of sense. I don't remember the last time I saw Warrior at 46%, and even in Wild, it's like pretty close too, with Warrior being the last there and Paladin being #1 at 52. It's pretty close. You actually have 7 classes in Wild with a 50% win rate or better. So that's pretty good when you take a look at it in paper. However, I've been playing my Legend climb lately. I don't play a lot of Standard these days. It's not my cup of tea, but I always get Legend. I have an 11-star bonus, and I'm noticing a trend with every deck I try and every deck I face, that even though we have a pretty diverse meta, like you look at top 1000 Legend, we have what, 5 tier 1 decks since the latest patch. We have like 6 tier 2 decks and a good amount of tier 3 decks. What I'm noticing a trend is Hearthstone more than ever to me feels like a mulligan simulator. Like, look no further. One of the more popular decks, its win rate's not spectacular, but one of the more popular decks is Lady Prestor Druid, where you get your Prestor out and get a bunch of random dragons. If you take a look at the mulligan, Lady Prestor nearing 60%. So you have her in your opener, or you get the Cold Tooth Mine, which gets her. You're looking at like a 60% win rate, which is pretty crazy. But just take a look at the best deck apparently across all ranks, or at top legend, Naga Priest. If you take a look at just a general mulligan guide overall, we take a look at the mulligan win rate. You got a Serpent Wig in your opener, you have a 67% win rate. Every other card, meh, pretty whatever, 54%. But you draw that one card, you're probably winning the game. One deck that's probably not as guilty of this, that is actually a pretty fair deck outside of what feels like Snowfall Guardian, is Control Murloc Shaman. If you look there, you have like the mulligan win rates of 58%, 56%, like all the strong cards, like you have a bunch. It's a well-rounded deck, nothing scams, and it's just a well-performing deck. So it's not like they're all guilty of this. But another example, let's just take a look at Celestial Druid. This deck's performing well. I don't get how every time I play it, I'm just getting destroyed. But you take a look at the mulligan win rate. You have Wildheart Guff. Yet again, Guff always seems to have this problem. 65% win rate. When you have Wildheart Guff in your opener, and even Alignment and Jerry Rig are at 60%, and everything else bottoms out pretty quickly. You take a look at another popular deck in Boat Rogue. Not quite as egregious, but you have the Blackwater Cutlass, which just gets your nulls really cheap at 58. You have Kravito at 57, but this is another deck that I've been playing a lot. It actually feels like an honest Hearthstone deck. I feel like it doesn't have a real scam thing outside of you're playing like the Jackpot variant. Then you can get high rolls off Jackpot, which is absurd. But there's no like auto win mulligan cards. So to me, this has actually been one of the healthier decks. But then we have Big Spell Mage, yet another example of this, where we'll take a look at one of the more popular builds, and you see Belinda is the deck. Effectively 65.7% of your games are won if you have Belinda in your hand, or in your opening hand, because, well, you just get her and then you can just spam a Dragonfire Amulet or a rune and win the game. So you can see I'm finding like so many of these top tier decks, so many. We can take a look at another one, Beast Hunter. Beast Hunter is another deck where if they have a certain card like the Harpoon Gun, we're up to almost a 60% win rate. And it's funny, the decks that like I gravitate to, like Fell Demon Hunter, for me, it's been a more of an enjoyable deck. It feels fair, and you take a look at like the top mulligan win win rate, everything's pretty even, like 57% Fossil Fanatic. Nothing's like this outlier like Drekthar was in Demon Hunter. So at least for me, when I'm playing, and so many of these decks have the ability to scam, whether it be a Lady Prestor, a Guff, a Belinda Stonehearth, even Cariel in Paladin to an extent, I feel like the agency in the games are like, what's in my opening hand? Do I win? Do I lose? And I take a look at so many of the decks that are on the top ranks. There are a lot, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of variety. And I'm not saying the meta is the worst it's ever been or anything like that, but so many games I feel like are decided based upon the cards we draw more than the plays I make. Because so many decks are based on a scam. And it actively led to me making this tweet the other day. And I feel like it's kind of the nature of it. I miss when they use meme cards. Like, honestly, most of these cards, if they would come out with these crazy texts, like a Rune of the Archmage, would be a meme card. And I miss when they were meme cards and not dictating the meta, because I face a Rune of the Archmage for 0 mana or 5 mana or whatever, and I lose the game based upon completely random cards. Same deal goes with like when you're facing an Elwyn Boar. I know it's not quite the mulligan win rate thing, but it's a very frustrating experience, especially in duels. Duels, it's even more problematic, where this is like a serious card that you just get destroyed by. And it's funny when it's a meme, but when it's real that locks you out, it feels really bad. Of course, we mentioned Celestial Alignment. This card, when it came out, we didn't really think it would be that great. And then all of a sudden, Lady Anacontra happened, Guff happened, and well, it's been nerfed once, and it still feels like a pretty big problem. And of course, Lady Prestor, random dragons, that shouldn't be really competitive. Well, when you have a card like Cold Tooth Mine that always guarantees it, and you have 40 of them in your deck with Guff cycling through, it's pretty darn ridiculous, and I know a lot of people are super frustrated by it. So I don't know if this is a solvable problem in the short term. I think a large part of this will be solved by more cards in the card pool. I think these spiked power outliers are more a symptom of a smaller card pool in standard that allow for these power spikes to really take advantage of lower power level cards overall. And I mean, you don't have to look no further than a Lady Prestor. There's not that many dragons, so she's gonna get ridiculous dragons every single time. I'm not calling for nerfs or anything like that, but it's my biggest frustration, and it's a concerning trend that we have seen in the past with cards like Drekthar, like Kazakhstan, these cards that if they are in your opener, they just win the game, and that's not really an enjoyable experience for most people. And I hope that with the next expansion we can get away from that, and that this, again, I just hope it's a symptom of a smaller card pool, because WoW doesn't have this problem nearly as much right now. So let me know what you think in the comments below. You can even mention like a Mecha Shark or a Seafloor Savior, right? Those cards have the same kind of problem. So let me know what you think in the comments below, if this has been a trend that's been kind of bothering you, or if you're just, hopeful that the next expansion can kind of even these things out just a little bit. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.